Hello, this is Catherine at I Know I Need to Stop Talking. Hello, loves, how are we doing? I am livid. Yes, genuinely, I'm livid. I'm livid on two counts right now. First and foremost, I'm livid because I did that thing on a Saturday morning when you're like, oh, so nice, I don't have an alarm to go off the next day. I'm just going to hang out in bed and I'm going to lie in. And I remember being a teenager and like sleeping in until 11 in the morning. I was thinking, yep, this is completely my future. Nice relaxing morning, nice rainy morning, so the sun's not shining through the window. I'm going to have the best sleep of my life. And I kind of did that thing where you wake up a little bit and you're sort of vaguely aware and sort of semi-conscious and you're like, this is so nice. I can snooze back off and I feel so rested. And then eventually I was like, well, gosh, what a lovely lie-in. Let me have a look and see what time it is. It must be time to get up. Look at my fucking clock and it's 6:26 a.m. For fuck's sake, is it just me who in adulthood, I have lost all ability to sleep in? And it makes me furious because on a school day, I have an unnerving ability to like be asleep still when the alarm goes off and then like be floundering around the room like some kind of blind mole rat type thing, not really knowing what's going on. Saturday morning, I'm leaping out the fucking bed before 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that made me feel furious. And then I felt even more furious because I was looking this afternoon to replace my walking shoes. I've been doing a lot of walking since sort of the end of last year for reasons that will become clear in due course. But I'm doing a load of walking and my walking shoes are knackered. Partly because I've done lots of walking in them, obviously. That's actually probably not the main reason that they're knackered. Probably the main reason they're knackered is because my walking shoes are very durable, but I think if I looked at the small print, they would probably say not for use underwater, and that was what happened to them on the memorable day. Very lucky, we live very near to the sea. We went out for a walk, Jamie and I, and we rounded the coastal path. And tides still confuse me. I've lived by the sea for a long time. I still find tides very, very confusing because in my head, tides should be like buses, right? So the bus comes at 2:15 in the afternoon, and I get tides move. I get that they move. So okay, maybe sometimes the bus comes at 2:15, sometimes it comes at 12 minutes past 2, and occasionally maybe it'll be really late and it'll come at 2:25. No, from what I can make out, tides are fuck all like that because tides, you're like, okay, today tides come in, it's like 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, 6:30 in the evening. What the fuck was 3 o'clock yesterday? What? Tides are mental, aren't they? And it's all to do with the moon, and the moon is linked to the whole women's period synchronizing things. And out of all the modern wonders of the world, women's periods synchronizing with one another, what the actual fuck? There's some kind of black magic going on there, is the only way I can describe it. Tides and periods are, the moon has got a lot to answer for, if you ask me. Anyway, I digress, as usual. So Jamie and I were out walking and the tide was in, and I had not expected it to be so, although I should know by now that nothing should surprise me with tides anymore. And everybody else was turning back and going back the other way, and it wasn't like a long way to the other side of the coastal path. I said to Jamie, I was fine, we'll just run through. It's probably only like ankle deep. Listeners, it was not only ankle deep, and I'm very lucky that Jamie is such a good sport as we ran through knee-deep water to get to the other side, and had that really quite gratifying thing, if you've ever done that, when you walk back afterwards and your feet actually squelch, and it makes an actual squelch noise. It's good onomatopoeia, isn't it? Squelch. Yeah, so we squelched all the way back home. So I think if I'm honest, that probably is the primary thing that has knackered my shoes, as opposed to just walking in them. So I was like, okay, well, this is cool. These shoes have been really good. They've been really comfortable. Only had them for 6 months, so shouldn't be so difficult to find an identical pair, should it? But of course, life is not that simple, is it? Life is never that simple. And whereas the easiest thing in the world should be to log on to the website that I bought them from last time and go, these shoes that you ordered previously, yes, I would like to order them again. And they should go, absolutely no problem at all, Catherine, here you go. No, that's not what happened. Instead, I went back to the website and I said, I want to order these shoes again. They said, well, not going to be able to do that for you, but how about any of these pairs of shoes? So I spent like an hour just scrolling furiously through screens and screens and screens of shoes, wanting to find the ones that I've got because I really like them and there are none to be found. I know, hashtag first world problems, right? But I do feel quite livid about the whole situation. So combination of lack of lion and lack of shoes. I've ordered some different shoes in the end because I got to the point where my fury, I was going into some kind of red mist and I thought this is ridiculous, so I've ordered a different pair. I already don't like them. I already feel furious about the fact they're even coming to the house, so I'll probably do that thing where I carry on stubbornly wearing my previous pairs of shoes till I literally walk my way through the soles of them, because it's hard, isn't it, when you have an item of clothing that you really love and then it dies a death and you go and replace it, and it's fucking impossible. I tried eBay, I tried everywhere, I'm so cross. But then I got to thinking, oh my God, it's nowhere near as bad as the hell of jeans shopping. And I've waxed lyrical on this over the years, but I am in short order going to need some more jeans, and it's just a bit much. Why isn't there a better way? We live in these amazing times where I only have to utter a sentence in the kitchen and Alexa's like, hi, how can I help you with that? Fuck off, Alexa, it's none of your business. Talking to myself. Actually, if Alexa could help me with jeans shopping, then maybe I would reconsider her relevance in our household. But jeans shopping, fucking hell. And I mean, has it been worse during the pandemic? Well, I suppose it hasn't really been on my radar because, I mean, let's be honest, most of us who haven't had to leave the house, who's actually bothered getting dressed from the waist down? I don't think there's many of us. To be really clear, I'm not walking around naked from the waist down. I just mean nobody's looking at what you wear on the waist down because you're mostly on Zoom calls. And if your Zoom call participants are looking at what you are wearing from the waist down, then you work somewhere very strange is all I have to say about that. But jeans shopping, it's been my bête noire for many, many years now. And I have no doubt that there are probably some people out there who find it really straightforward to go jeans shopping. And, you know, goodness, we're all different shapes and sizes, and all different shapes and sizes should absolutely be celebrated. But I think there is probably some most likely image of a male designer as to what the female form looks like. And if you happen to have that body shape, then I imagine going and buying jeans is probably a breeze, and all power to you. But for the remaining 99.99999% of us, it's fucking horrendous. And Mr. I know I need to stop talking buys his jeans on the internet, and I have marvelled at this for years. And I've said to him, how do you do this? How do you get them? And they come and they fit. And he looked at me like I'd lost my mind and said, well, I know that I'm this number of inches waist and this number of inches leg, and so I buy this number of inches waist and this number of inches leg, and they fit. Is that not the same for girls? And I went, is that not the same for girls? My God, no. That's so sensible. That's so logical. There's no fucking way it would be like that for girls, because it's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, don't get me started on clothes sizing. Obviously, we now have to do this vanity size thing, which probably means I'm like a size 0 somewhere, which I am categorically not a size 0. But all clothes sizes in different shops are different, aren't they? So you're almost like starting on a hiding for nothing. It's like a size 12 in one shop is a size 16 in another shop, is a size 24 in another shop, is a size don't even come in my shop in another shop. It's ridiculous. So you've got like almost no starting point, nowhere to start from. Every single size is different. And then of course these sizes have been designed for these mythically shaped women who I'm certain do exist, only there's not very many of them. So for the rest of us, I have found jeans in shops. I mean, first of all, you have that horrible humiliation, don't you, when you kind of like you get the jeans around your ankles and you pull them up, and then when they're getting stuck around your calves, it's kind of like a real sign that all is not well, right? Isn't it? It's kind of like, and everything I've ever read anywhere says that when you buy jeans, because they obviously have lots of lycra in them these days, jeans. Everything I've ever read said, when you first get your jeans on, you almost want to not be able to pull them up. I mean, I think I've taken that to heart. I've at times felt that jean shops should, you know how when you put difficult shoes on, you can get a shoe horn? I genuinely think there is a place in the market for a jeans horn. In fact, I might patent it right now. Because, I mean, who hasn't laid on the floor of a changing room like some fat, sweaty salmon, wriggling and writhing as you try and pull the jeans out? Is this just me? Because this is going to be very awkward if it's only me who does that. But yeah, so you kind of, you start off with probably just being way off, because I always convince myself, I'm like, oh yeah, of course I'm this size, and then that size doesn't even go over one of my feet, and I'm like, okay, maybe need to size up. But then you get, and I'm an hourglass shape, right? So I'm blessed stroke cursed with a generously sized bottom and a relatively small waist in proportion to my bottom. So what happens is either the jeans that would fit my waist, like I say, don't get past my calves, or I get them up and I get them and I'm like, oh my God, my ass is in some jeans, and I've got like singing and screaming for joy and clapping hands and everything's wonderful. And then I could probably like fit, I don't know, a barrel down next to me in the waist because it's like gaping around the waist. And if they fit your waist, they're not going to go anywhere near my ass. And then maybe you get to a point where you're like, you go to a shop that you know before, you know, like I know in certain shops I am a particular size, and that's quite reassuring. I know. So if I'm buying a top, let's use that example because tops are different. So I know that if I go into, I was going to say Dorothy Perkins, but it's gone, hasn't it? R.I.P. Dorothy Perkins. I loved Dorothy Perkins, but I knew that if I went into Dorothy Perkins, I would be a 12 in a top. Any top. I could pick up tops in Dorothy Perkins and not even have to try them on. That's how sure of my size I was. Jeans though, fuck knows, because while you might know that you're normally a 12 in Dorothy Perkins for tops, jeans, in one style I might be a 12, in another style I might be a 10, vanity sizing, in another style I might be an 18, because there's no logic, and I'm quite a logical person at heart, and I hate the fact that it's like a fucking algorithm every time you go and try and buy jeans. I'd done a long shopping trip with my best friend. He'd come with me, and I said, right, you've just got to help me. I can't face this. Just stand outside the changing rooms and just cheer and wave and smile and buy me lots of gin when we get through this experience. And I found a pair, and I was like, oh my God, they fit my ass, they fit my waist. It's the holy grail of jeans. Fuck my life, happy day. And I turned round to look at myself in the mirror, and on the buttocks, and I'm not exaggerating, it said slut in Diamante, because who doesn't want slut in Diamante on their buttocks? Everybody. That's who. Every fucking person doesn't want slut in Diamantes on their buttocks. So it's just a bit torturous, isn't it? And then of course when you eventually find a pair, and we all, you know, get there in the end and buy one that doesn't make us feel like all of our internal organs have moved up into our esophagus, and you buy the jeans. And then, of course, you think, well, I've got these in blue. Maybe I'll get a pair in black as well. You know, it would be silly not to, right? And I've done this so many times. I've been like, right, I've got the blue ones, they fit. I'll get a black pair. Do I try them on? Of course I don't try them on, because I've just tried on the same style of jeans. It's just in a different colour. I know that they fit, except I get them home and they do not fit, because what the actual fuck? How are the same pair of jeans in the same size, in the same shop, in different colours, different sizes? I don't understand. It's to do with the moon, isn't it? It's probably the moon. It's probably involved in this as well. I mean, what the actual fuck? Of course, you know, I have learned over the years, and I now know that as and when I do occasionally manage to find the holy grail of jeans that actually fucking fits, I should buy up every single pair in that colour and style in the entire fucking land, because you can guarantee, and this has happened to me more painful occasions than I can count, you can guarantee that by the time they wear through, and they will do, because denim these days is not what it was, and I'm sure, well, I hope that it's not just me who, you know, ends up after several months of wear with like basically claims for indecent exposure because the seams have split in between my thighs and I'm basically revealing one buttock to the world, which nobody wants to see, I can assure you. And I can guarantee by that point, by the time I go back to the shops, that style will be gone forever. Honestly, they change jean styles in shops more than probably I change my makeup. It's ridiculous. I'm like, no, find a style, stick to the style, for the love of God. This is a very, very painful experience forever. And of course, the one thing that makes all of this worse, we have to try them on in front of fucking changing room mirrors, don't we? I don't know what shops do with changing room mirrors, but it's like, is it designed to destroy your soul so that you'll just buy stuff at any cost to get the fuck out of there and away from a place where you don't look like you've got cellulite so far up your body it's even on your nose? Because that's what happens to me. I tend to kind of like go in these days and sort of squint at changing room mirrors, because they're like those mirrors in fairgrounds, aren't they? Which like it just brings out the worst of every single one of your features. They're also fucking boiling, aren't they? So you're in like I have a pure sweat on. Honestly, it's better for me. I think this is a better workout for me than going running ever was. The stress plus the sweat, plus the getting in and out of your clothes, and then that awful moment of horrendous panic when the item of clothing that you're trying on gets stuck. We've all been there, right? We've all been there. I went shopping a couple of years ago. It was at Christmas, and I went to the Next sale. And I had Beth with me, and I found there was a jumper that I'd absolutely loved, and I couldn't justify buying it at full price. To my great joy and delight, I found it in the Next sale, reduced down to an absolute steal. I picked it up. Well, of course, wouldn't you know, it's a size 6. and I'm sure there are many people out there who are size 6s. I am most definitely one of them. But I was optimistic because it was a jumper, and I think tops are a bit more forgiving. They've got a bit more stretch. So I was like, right, I'm going to try this on. I said to Beth, I'm going to go and try it on. She looked at me somewhat cynically, but was like, okay. So we went to the hot, sweaty changing room, and I got on the jumper, and through sheer brute force, I got it on. It was on me. It fitted. It actually fitted. It didn't look awful. It fitted. I was like, right, that's it. It's so cheap. I'm having this. I'm going to have this. And then I went to take it off, and it was one of those moments where you have visions, or maybe it's just me, I have visions flash into my brain of fire brigades having to be called to cut out the stupid size 12 woman who's tried to put a size 6 jumper over her head. I had like both arms up above me, and I was like trying to wrestle my way out, like, I don't know, like I was stuck in some kind of cardboard tube, and Beth's like, "Are you okay, mummy?" "Yes, darling, everything's fine." Sweat pouring down my face. I'm in some kind of oil slick going on. I got out of it eventually, but it was a deeply tense few minutes. And every time I wear that jumper, which has stretched with wear, so it is now wearable. Every time I wear it, I never entirely trust it. There's always that horrible fear that you're going to be stuck in there forever and have the mortification of having the fire brigade. I don't expect they do come out to cut people out of clothing, but that is definitely my greatest fear. So I just think that maybe, you know, we're post lockdown, we're emerging into this brave new world post lockdown. Maybe we should just all agree that actually all clothing just needs to be bulked up with added lycra. Everything should have an elastic waistband. In fact, maybe it's just like, we should just wear pyjamas, full stop. Maybe we could all agree now, if we all signed up and said, you know what, loungewear is the future, because I think it is. I hope that generations of the future will look back at great granny trying to wrestle herself like a salmon into a pair of jeans on a changing room floor, sweating through every pore in her body, and be like, what the fuck, as they sit there in their nice elasticated loungewear, all relaxed and comfortable. I mean, you know, there's a novelty. Clothes that are comfortable. I very rarely remember having any experiences with jeans that involve comfort. So I felt livid about both of those things, really. But other than that, it had been a good day today. It had been a good day. So Beth is obviously back at football, which has been a genuine joy, even when the wind is howling so fiercely. Again, living by the sea, it's lovely, but I'm not going to lie, standing on a football pitch early in the morning as the wind whistles off the sea towards you is bracing. Bracing is probably the politest way to describe it. But the rain kind of held off, and I mean, Beth did give me a fright this morning, so I should know and should learn never to make bets with Beth. But some of you might remember last season she had a bit of a scoring drought, and she had joined her new team, her girls' team, and she hadn't really managed to get the ball into the back of the net. So I said to her going into this season at the start, so this was back, you know, kind of end of last summer, I said, well, I'll tell you what, this season, I said, we'll do what professional footballers do. I said, we'll do a goal bonus, and we'll do an assist bonus. So she gets a small sum of money for a goal and a small sum of money for an assist. And I thought, well, if that inspires her at some point in the course of the season to get one of those, fantastic. I mean, she has absolutely desecrated my bank account. It's like she was just waiting to get cold, hard cash for her game. The goal bonus and the assist bonus is going next season. It has clearly been a fast track to bankrupting me. But last night, stupidly, even despite knowing that, and I completely blame the fact that I'd had a couple of glasses of wine and I was quite tired. And I was like, right, come on, let's get ready. We've got to go up to bed and, you know, get ready. You got match tomorrow morning. And then I don't even know what made me say it. I went, oh God, I tell you what, if you got a hat trick tomorrow, I'd probably give you £50. And the moment the words were out of my mouth, I regretted it. She was like, £50? And I was like, yeah, because you can't take it back, can you? Once you said it, it's too late. So we went off to this game this morning, and to my horror, discovered that they were playing at a side that were much less experienced than Beth's team. And all the girls did brilliantly, as they always did, but it was very clear from the get-go that Beth's team were going to come out on top. But, you know, Beth is still sporadic with her scoring. Anyway, she barely got onto the pitch. She slammed this long-range goal straight into the back of the net, and I was like, oh, okay, she means business. But we finished the first half, and her team had scored a number of goals. She'd only scored one. I was like, okay, cool, it's good. We start the second half. She goes straight down the other end. She scores another goal. I'm starting to look very nervous at this point. At this point, I confess to the other parents around me, I'm like, shit, I could be in some trouble here. Well, of course, in the supportive way that fellow parents can only do, they start cheering on, come on, Beth, score that goal, score that third goal. I'm like, you are having a fucking laugh. No, stop it. And then she curls this ball in, and oh my goodness me, it is millimetres away from going into the top corner. It thankfully ricochets off the post. I exhale massively. And so despite coming close, she did not score a hat-trick. No one was more relieved than me. However, I thought that I was going to have problems if she's got a hat-trick. I then got chatting to one of the other mums who I don't usually chat to, and she revealed that her daughter had, similar thing to Beth, has perhaps struggled to find the back of the net. So she'd said to her daughter, if you score a hat-trick, I'll get you a rabbit. So I think both of us had very lucky escapes, and I'm not fucking betting on any hat-tricks ever again. Lesson well and truly learnt. But they all had great fun, and it is just an utter joy to see them out there. And again, it's made such a difference to her, not just when she's playing, but it's like the light's been turned back on. She is just so lifted. Her spirits are just through the roof, as demonstrated last night. So this is where I go. I think this was bad parenting on my part. So Beth had been asking for ages to watch a show called Friday Night Dinner, because lots of her friends at school watch it. And I'm pretty relaxed. Me and Mr. I know I need to stop talking. Pretty relaxed in terms of we don't tend to censor art from the kids, because I think you learn stuff. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be rushing out going, hey kids, let's watch The Human Centipede, but we, within reason, we don't censor stuff too much. And because I just live in my little happy bubble of niceness, I just convinced myself that I knew what Friday Night Dinner was, and I just convinced myself it was like a cookery show. And Beth even went, and she's quite good, she went, yeah, one of my teachers at school has said I'll really like it. I thought, well, a teacher's saying you'd like it. I mean, how harmful can it be? Now, to be fair, it's not that harmful. It's got a bit of swearing in, but she lives with me, so I doubt that's too much of a surprise. But she came in last night, and very high spirits, excited about her match today. She came in last night, and I can't remember what I said to her, and apparently this is the show's famous catchphrase, and I will now watch it to see just how bad it is in terms of language. I asked her to do something. She went, shit on it, Jackie. At which point I did what all responsible parents absolutely would never do, and creased up laughing, and then she did it again and I laughed more. So it was a really dreadful piece of parenting on all fronts, but it was very, very fucking funny indeed. It was a joy. She's got another match tomorrow, so she plays on both a Saturday and a Sunday. Tomorrow's going to be an highly entertaining battle of wills, because my mum, who lives a little distance from here, is coming to have lunch in the garden with us tomorrow, and Beth's got a late kick-off, so I said, oh, do you want to come and watch Beth's game? And my mum said, yes, absolutely, I'd love to come and watch it. My mum is, I'm going to describe her as very competitive, and that's probably an understatement, and Beth, I think, is still slightly emotionally scarred from years ago when she was quite little. My mum came to watch a training session, came to watch Beth in training, and not only was my mum doing that, she's a proud granny, right? So not only was my mum doing that, come on Beth. Whenever the other team got the ball, she was like, boo, no, you go and get it, Beth. And Beth was like head in hands, like, Granny, stop it. So yeah, we're going to have this game tomorrow where Beth and my mum are both equally strong-willed. My mum, I know, will be very, very proud of her granddaughter and very keen to cheer her on. And Beth will be equally adamant that if my mum opens her mouth and wants to say anything during the game, words will be had. Yes, that's going to be a battle of wills and then some. I mean, to be fair, it has value, so much so that Jamie's said, oh, I'm going to come watch that. That's going to be very entertaining. Beth and Granny. So yeah, we'll see how see how that goes. It's it will be a fascinating interaction, I'm sure. Jamie's had a good week. He has finally remembered to ask his teacher what I asked him to ask her. It's taken 3 weeks, but he's finally got there. After 3 weeks of every morning, Jamie, ask your teacher about this. Yeah, I'll do it. Will you? I'll definitely do it. End of the day, did you ask your teacher? Oh, whoops. And then, so we kind of worked up. So we kept going, Jamie, did you ask your teacher? I didn't ask her, but I did think about asking her in another lesson. Okay, good. Not exactly progress, but maybe it's a step forward. Jamie, have you asked your teacher? oh yeah, I was going to, and then I didn't. And then finally, success on Friday. Came outside, I asked her, I said, brilliant, what did she say? He said, she told me I need to go and ask another teacher, head in hands, fucking hell. So I look forward to getting the answer to my question. I should just phone the school, shouldn't I? It would be easier. He is head in clouds. He's also achieved a new Jamie record this week for managing to get a detention for not doing some homework that he'd actually done. He came out of school, he said, I've got detention, but it's really unfair because it's for not doing homework. And I said, well, did you do the homework? He said, yeah. And I said, well, I then get defensive as his protective mother. Well, that's outrageous, Jamie. I will speak to the school. I can't believe they've done that. Well, I didn't hand it in. Okay, so you've done the homework, but you haven't handed it in. Yeah, and I've got detention. It's really unfair. So how is your teacher expected to know that you've done the homework when you haven't handed it in? Oh yeah. I mean, I love him very much, but sometimes I do wonder how to help him. And God love his teacher for being eminently reasonable. And actually, when he did hand the homework in, going, it's fine, Jamie, you don't have to have a detention, which I think was very nice because I probably would have given him one for pure stupidity. But they're clearly far more reasonable than I am. And of course, the great event of this week, my children did the dishwasher without me asking them. Not only did they do it without me asking them, they did it without fighting. They did it without 3 hours debate over who last did the dishwasher, and the many times they've been asked to do the dishwasher, and the unfairness of life that they have to empty the dishwasher. It was just done. And I had a brief moment of going, oh my God, this is it. I've cracked it. I've cracked parenting. I've done it. I'm going to write the ultimate parenting guide. And then, as all parents will know, it just comes crashing down to you in this sudden realisation, fuck, what have they done? And I really enjoyed on Facebook when I shared on that, I really enjoyed some of the comments from people suggesting what the children could have done, all of which, to be honest, sounded quite plausible. The lady who suggested that Beth would have got a kitten and hidden it in a box somewhere, absolutely plausible, can see that. My favourite was a guy who said that when he was younger, him and I think his brother, they used to empty the dishwasher because they needed it to wash skulls in. I think he did then later come back and clarify that these were not human skulls, but there was a brilliant tumbleweed moment. I actually had a great moment this afternoon. I needed to return something through DPD, and so I was printing out the returns label, and there's a little link through to things that you're not allowed to send back through DPD. So I thought, well, I'll just have a quick click on it to check that I'm not sending back anything I shouldn't. I mean, if you haven't seen the list, it's an absolute treat. Best way to say is it's very, very varied. So I'm reading down it, and there's the obvious stuff like explosives and guns and knives and everything. And there's some really fucking random stuff in there, like window frames. Okay, reading down, can't send this, mustn't send human flesh. Good to know. I really want to know the series of events that led up to someone thinking, we'd better just spell it out. No human flesh. Next item on the list, no human remains either. So good to clarify. And that was then followed by no human flesh, no human remains, no lampshades. Okay. So yeah, whoever had the job of putting that together at DPD, I so want to know the stories behind why that list is as it is. But if in doubt, no, you can't send your human flesh or human remains through DPD, nor can you send lampshades. Unfortunately, disappointing. So yeah, it was a great achievement this week getting the dishwasher done, and probably saved at least 20 hours of bickering over who last looked in the direction of the dishwasher and should therefore be deemed to empty. Of course, then I do the parent thing of, you're lucky to have a dishwasher at all. When I was younger, I used to have to do the washing up, and both my kids, who know my family very well, look at me and go, no, you didn't. Granny did that, and it's true. My mum did do the washing up, and I was a lazy tyke. Oh, it's a good phrase, isn't it? Lazy tyke. I shall use that more. My other confession this week, after last week's podcast, I haven't done anything with my celeriac. I did think about it. I did go and look for recipes, and I don't know, they're quite an intimidating vegetable, and now I'm in this Mexican standoff with my fridge because I know that I paid for that celeriac and to not use it as a waste. But I'm scared of the celeriac, which sounds ridiculous, but I am. And therefore, we're going to kind of be, there's just going to be this crashing guilt hanging around me until I either do something with it or until it rots away to such an extent that I can deem it as having kind of like fish and be like, oh well, it just went off before I could get to it. I'm one of life's procrastinators. What can I say? I haven't folded my cardio bags either. On the other week's podcast, for anyone who missed it, I was talking about apparently you're supposed to fold supermarket bags into like little samosa shapes. I mean, who's got time in that? Even in the emptiest days of lockdown, I still never reached a point of thinking, and now I shall fold my Ocado bags. I mean, does anybody else look back? Time hop's fascinating, isn't it? Looking back at 12 months ago. Does anybody else look back at the them of 12 months ago? And I was completely like, I'm going to write a novel, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to run a marathon. I've done none of those things. I promised myself, I thought, I didn't want to set myself up to fail. I thought I'll set myself a reasonable goal. I'm going to paint the bathroom walls in my ensuite, which is only tiny. So I'm going to paint those walls. And I was like, yeah, very, very achievable. 12 months on, have I so much as ordered a paint sample for those bathroom walls? No, I have not. I feel lockdown has divided us all into the great achievers and the great procrastinators, and I am definitely one of life's great procrastinators, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm going to spend my Saturday evening tidying, though. I can't procrastinate this evening. I have to tidy this evening because, as I said, my mum is coming tomorrow. Now, COVID rules, she's not coming into the house. She's only going to sit in the garden. But mums know, don't they? Mums just know. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that my mum would know if I hadn't tidied my house. So I'm going to spend this evening tidying in an attempt to assuage my guilt of my mum being here. And even though she's just sitting in the back garden, I'm going to need to tidy the garden as well, aren't I? I mean, I need to go and get started on this shit, clearly. Fucking hell. I cannot procrastinate any longer. And maybe I can get the children to help me, and maybe pigs will fly. I feel the dishwasher achievement was most definitely a one-off. I can just see it now. Beth, can you give me a hand with this? Shit on it, Jackie! Good parenting times. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all keeping safe. I hope you are starting to be able to get to do some of the things that you love. Look after yourselves. Have lovely weeks. I will see you next week. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.